I saw this great video that the Dominicans published on their Facebook page. I'm just going to play it for you. I have an interesting idea for you. This is a portable altar, but just that one of the Irish Dominicans who was a bishop used to have. So have a look at this beautiful video. I love looking at these things, but I have an interesting proposal for the Dominicans after. There's been a lot of discussion on liturgy and on language and on Latin over the last 50 years. But without dividing the church, I would ask the Dominicans use that portable altar and celebrate Mass on the Mass rocks around Ireland. And you'll be surprised the amount of people that will come to experience the Mass that was said on that portable altar, the Mass in Latin that was said. Maybe a Dominican, the ancient Dominican rite. I mean, I think Latin is a beautiful language that challenges us, and ecclesiastical Latin, you can learn a few prayers in Latin and learn a few of the responses. So, not dividing the church. I don't think we should ever be divided on the liturgy as Catholics. The Mass is the Mass. Either the new Mass in the vernacular or the old Mass in Latin. It is the holy sacrifice of the Mass. But I think the old traditional Latin Mass or the old Dominican rite still speaks to us today, and people could learn from it. People could learn from it and witness, oh, isn't it amazing to go to a Mass that maybe, the Dominicans would have celebrated 800 years ago. I mean, the Dominicans are in Ireland over the last 800 years. This is their 800th year. Use your history to promote the order. And you might find out that you'll end up with 20, 30, 40 men from around Ireland that are interested in that challenge of offering the church all of the wealth of all of our traditions. That's what I think. I think priests should offer us the whole wealth of our traditions. If people want a traditional Dominican rite Latin Mass, let them have it. Of course, not dividing the church, not being divisive, not saying that it's superior to the Reformed rite, but offer it all. Offer all these traditions to the church. Offer them. And I do think Latin is a beautiful language. It can challenge us. It's not going to harm anybody to learn that right and to experience it. So on this 800th anniversary of your arrival to Ireland, use that portable altar. Go out and celebrate the Mass that was celebrated on that portable altar in the language of that rite, because you have those whole altar cards. It's all, when you open it up, I can see the altar cards there. Use them. Go out in Ireland. Actually, go to every ancient Dominican monastic site in Ireland and offer Mass with that portable altar. That would be something beautiful. Yeah, and there's so many ruins of Dominican chapels around Ireland and monasteries around Ireland. Even here near where I live in Rathfran near Killala, there's an old Dominican. Offer it, and you would be surprised that people will come to experience it experience the mass, the probably not exactly the same, but similar to what was celebrated in those places. So my challenge to the Dominicans, you know, don't leave these treasures buried. Bring them out to Ireland. Celebrate the mass on those portable altars around Ireland. Go to the Mass Rocks and to the ancient monastic sites that the Dominicans used to have. I'd love to hear Irish feedback on this. Let's give the Dominicans Irish feedback. You know, they're doing great work around Ireland. And fair dues to Father Harris for all of the work that he is doing. I mean, I love to see religious groups that are just not sitting back and say, "Woe on us, we've no vocations, we're just dying," and thanks be to God that the Dominicans just haven't sat back and given into the pessimism. They've stepped forward, they've prayed, they've proposed their way of living to a new generation, and people seem to be listening. Do a step more. Give us these treasures back in the church. Teach us a little bit of Latin in the Mass. Challenge this generation. Challenge them. This generation is up for a challenge, and I think experiencing the Mass that previous generations would have experienced is something beautiful to experience, but without the division, without dividing the church, and without getting into the debates on tradition and debates on Vatican II. None of that. We leave the divisions aside, but we shouldn't be afraid to offer that encounter with the sacred the previous generations would have experienced. I think this generation might find it interesting. That's the only thing I'm saying. Let's see. What do people think? Pray for the Dominicans. And as I said, well done to the Dominicans and all the work that they're doing in Ireland, especially on the consistent vocations they get every year. I mean, you have to praise the good work they're doing, especially all of the young Dominicans. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.